Hello and welcome to We Poets. My name is Sally Baker and I'm the host of We Poets. We Poets is a poetry show for boys and girls between the ages of 6 and 13. But we're doing a special series called Battlefield Poets. I'm interviewing veterans who are returning from the war in Iraq, Afghanistan, and the Persian Gulf. And I'm also interviewing agencies that help veterans when they come back to ordinary life and to help them make this transition smoothly. Tonight we have a family, the first time I've interviewed a family. I'm going to be interviewing the veteran, his wife, and his child. So without further ado, I'm going to interview our veteran first, and his name is Ayadi. Hi Ayadi, how are you tonight?
Hi ma'am, I thank you for inviting me to the show and inviting my wife and my daughter, and I thank you for supporting all veterans to smooth our transition to the civilian life.
Well, I want to thank you so much and all the other veterans who have served to keep our country free and to help other countries be free.
Indeed.
So, my first question for you is, in what branch of the military did you serve?
I honorably served at U.S. Army, ma'am.
Great. And in what country did you serve?
Many countries, mainly Iraq.
Iraq. And do you speak Arabic?
I speak 5 languages.
5 languages. Tell us what languages you speak.
Honorably, I was lucky and fortunate enough to speak Arabic, French, Italian, English, and Berber.
Wonderful. And did you learn all these languages when you were like in high school or a young adult or after you became an adult?
I learned them in high school and at mid school as well.
Wonderful. Which language do you like to speak the best?
English.
English.
It depends where you are. I believe in communicating with people and using their language. So if I'm here in the States, I'll prefer to use English.
Yes.
If I'm in an Arabic country, I'll prefer to use Arabic. If I'm in France, I prefer to use French so I can relate to everybody.
Yes, that's wonderful. We took 15 Berkeley High School students, my director and I, he's from Iraq. We took 15 students to Paris, France, and we were invited to go there, and we filmed We Poets on location in Paris for 2 weeks. And the 15 students stayed with families there so they could learn to speak French. And then those 15 students came here to Berkeley and lived with the families of the 15 American students. And it was a wonderful experience being in France. Did you like Paris when you were there?
Yes, ma'am. It's good. The country I like most is the States.
Is the States?
Yes. Ma'am. But I did like it, yes. It's a lot to offer.
A lot to offer.
Great culture, and it has a lot in it as a country.
Good, good. Now my next question, was there a public celebration for you when you returned home?
I wish. I wasn't part of a special ops mission, so I didn't even know that there is a public celebration until you presented the question.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, well, I know some of the veterans that I've interviewed said there wasn't a celebration for them, and some said that there was, you know. So.
Yeah, I believe you. It could be. There is some celebration, and depend of the branch you're in, or what field, or what job, what's your MOS, or.
Yes, Now, what were the biggest challenges that you had readjusting back into family life?
There's so many. I may take the whole show just to tell you all the challenges.
But please tell us some of them.
I'll mention the most important things is getting back to who I am as a person, like knowing who I am, and knowing my family. I get to the point that I didn't know who's even my daughter, or once you're part of the military, or once you were in a war zone, you became more of an alert person. And one of the hardest things to adjust is being more of the fun person, or the outspoken person, or so that the main thing that was so hard was just getting back to being funny or being smooth and talking and communicating.
Yes. Have you always been an outgoing person, or you were kind of a shy person before you went into the military?
I was an outgoing person before
Outgoing?
I went in, yeah.
Uh-huh. What were some of the things you liked to do before you went into the military?
I used to like
sports?
playing chess. I used to like play soccer a lot.
Ah, uh-huh.
Going into the military got me more fit physically to do more and to practice a lot, but the hobbies changed a little bit.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh. Now, did you have a physical injury while you were in the military?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you tell us what it was, or?
Yeah, I was injured in an aircraft crash, and I was injured in my back, and I got injured also in I have a hearing loss.
Mm-hmm. Have you had to wear a hearing aid since you returned?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I did.
Mm-hmm. Now, how did the war affect your mental health?
Badly. I didn't notice that it did affect my mental health until I came home.
Oh, yes.
During my service time, I was always on base. So, and I couldn't even adjust back in the rear, what we call the rear, back in here. I always got used to the point that I always got used to the life, the war life.
Oh.
So when I got here, I always either get in trouble or couldn't adjust. I feel things different. So many things that people take for granted.
Yes.
And being in a point or being in a certain point where you can't joke about training or you can't joke about so many subjects because you know, when you lose a friend or you lose a member or a brother, a real brother, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Once I walked into the military, one thing I noticed that I walked into a big family.
Oh.
And a real family, you know, that really stood up with me. And once you lose part of that family, it's so hard for you when you come back here to get back and adjust and transition, basically.
I'm sure. Did many of your close buddies get injured or killed in the conflict?
A few of them, yes, ma'am.
A few of them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember there's a couple that it's hard to forget, and actually one of them he has the same background as me, myself, and it hurt me so bad. Also, even the way that I mean, he honorably served the country, and he honorably did his best to be an American, but he wasn't treated right. Even the way he came back, nobody heard about him, and he was sent to our embassy overseas, and he was held there for a while because his family didn't want to. They were afraid to take him.
Oh, how sad.
And yeah, that's one of the people it's hard to forget. And another is and I do have other friends as well. It's hard to forget too. God bless their soul.
Yes, God bless them. Now, did you have bad dreams and take medication when you came back?
When I came back, yes, ma'am, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think it's everybody. As a human being, you can adjust, or your brain cannot take so many things.
That's right.
So I have taken a lot. Manzanine, so many that I like.
Do you wake up with bad dreams at night sometimes?
Flashback.
Flashback,
or
yes.
Sometimes I didn't notice until I get here too, because my wife, she'll tell me like, "Oh, honey, you've been saying this," or "Last night you woke up and said that."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, those things happen, you know. Now, did you socialize with friends and other veterans and talk about your war experiences?
Now I do.
You do now?
Before, when I get back here, during my whole service term, I never get to be in touch with my friends here or other veterans here. And
so you didn't write to them?
No, I didn't, until I left the service. And once I left the service, actually I was surprised that even there is a community or a veteran community. I didn't know until I get to the VA, and that's where I was. Yeah, I felt so lonely, and I lost all my old friends.
Yes.
It's different.
Yes.
You're not the same.
So you had to make new friends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's how I sure did meet a lot of veterans here, and one thing we talk about all the time is our experience. It's something that we share a lot of things. So.
That only maybe you veterans could share. You wouldn't want to share them with outsiders who hadn't experienced the war, maybe?
I wouldn't say we wouldn't want to, but it's mainly, it would be more understandable.
Understandable, yes. They would understand where
they
you were
would
coming
understand
from.
where you're coming from.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Now, let's see now. Has the VA helped you and your family to obtain the help that you need?
So many of us as veterans, it's when I get back here and when I join the service, when I walk in, even in the streets in San Francisco, coming from a different country, I used to be shocked. How can an American be on the street or living on the streets?
Yes, yes.
Right?
In this rich country, we shouldn't have anybody living on the streets.
Indeed. And until I got back from the service and the way I was treated in certain members that work at the VA, it gave me more understanding why there is so many of us out there on the streets. I believe that there is so many of us, and the VA, they're not ready to treat all of us or to take care of all of us. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there is a lot of great people that worked for the VA. I missed all the way to the VA.
Oh.
And it took me over an hour and a half just to get there.
Just to get there?
Yes, ma'am. And since there is not enough doctors, if you are there for 20 minutes or half an hour late, you're out.
Oh, you missed your appointment?
That's it. And
then you have to wait probably another month or two to get another appointment.
I wish if it was a month or two. Ma'am, since I left the service, it has been almost 2 years. I didn't achieve a regular treatment for my either back or for many things. And it's not, the closest VA system to my place, it's not a hospital, it's clinic.
Oh.
So when you walk in there, the soonest appointment would be 3 to 4 months. And that's why I decided to go to another VA, thinking that, okay, it's a bigger. Hospital, so it's easier. Which is true, it was smoother, you know, but I wouldn't call it easier. I think a lot of employees that have been working there, they used to have a veteran as an old man or a woman who are either homeless or who are crazy, and they're not used to have a veteran who's young.
Young, yes.
Exactly. So you get treatment like, for example, you call in to reschedule an appointment and the person on the phone will yell at you for rescheduling an appointment, and you're like, it's a simple procedure. Okay, it's so difficult, and sometimes you're ashamed, or not ashamed, but you can say like, okay, I cannot take the BART and the bus and this and that just to get to the VA.
That's right.
And you don't feel like sharing that experience with the person on the phone. So all we want is just direct things, you know. So just to answering your question, yes, it did help me, the VA, but not enough. I'm sure it's helping other veterans, but I don't think it's enough. I think they need to. I hope, you know, I hope they hire more people, and they expand as a spot, like as a place for us to go. Because for me as a veteran, the VA is home.
Yes.
For a lot of people, I don't know if they understand it or not, but for me, whenever I drove back to base, I feel like, okay, here we go. I'm back to the big family that I started with.
Oh.
I'm back to the spot that I belong.
Yes.
Right? Once I walked out, any problem I faced or anything I've seen, the VA was the home that I was looking for. And it's sad
that wasn't the home that you found.
Exactly, ma'am.
That's right.
And it wasn't also well organized as our great military is. It wasn't even well funded, I believe, because you ask for certain things and you end up paying for them while you can't even afford to pay for them.
That's right. And the veteran should not have to pay for them after having served our country.
Exactly, ma'am.
That's right, yes.
Exactly, ma'am.
Yes. Well, we're going to take a break, and then I want you to show some of these things that you've brought to show us. Okay?
Indeed, ma'am.
All right?
Indeed.
So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment. And now, Ayadi, would you tell us something about these wonderful awards that you have received, please? Right into camera.
Of course, ma'am. I received several awards, but this is the main thing and the closest things to my heart. I start with my picture with in South Carolina, and those are my battle buddy that I start which I call my bigger family. And the second award will be from my closest Sarge, and Sergeant First Class Ruben. I would like to say hi to him, and I'd like to thank him for all what he have done. And I hope that he keep moving forward. Even though he got injured so many times, he still had the will and the power to keep moving. And it pushed me one time when I was injured myself. Just looking at him, and he was bleeding, and I told him, like, Sarge, you got hit. And he said, don't worry about that. We have a mission to complete. We'll worry about it later. So his word was ringing in my ear when I was hit myself, and it gave me a lot of power to keep moving. And I honor him, and I really thank him for the great things that he have done for our country. And this is a certificate of appreciation that he presented to me, and it's for all the hard work I have done. And since he is the closest NCO, non-commissioned officer, that I worked with, it mattered a lot to me. All the rest, as far as ARCOM, AM, all the stars, I believe every single soldier who served in our military, he have done enough sacrifice to receive all those awards.
Wonderful. I
believe that belong to all those soldiers. And move on to the next one will be my wife master degree. It is a great thing that she received her master degree while I was serving. A lot of people don't know that the wives sacrifice more than the soldiers, and it's not just as much.
That's right.
She is this. Basically, she lived like a single mom, taking care of my kids and our lives, basic daily life. She's a teacher. She's working full time, and she went to school at night. And I cannot thank her enough. She's here, and you'll be able to talk to her.
Yes.
For all the great things she have done. And the day that she received her master degree, it made me feel like all my hard work is worth doing.
That's right. Bless her.
Yes, ma'am. And the last one will be one of my father achievement. It's a great pizzeria in San Francisco, located at 377 Bay Street in the Wharf. He went all the way to Goodfellas, Brickwood Oven, and he learned how to make pizza. And they got awarded the world best pizza in 2007.
Wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful.
It's a great honor to receive such a things. And I think one of the things that always build me who I am as a strong man is
Your
having
father.
a father like him.
Yes,
And
wonderful
he stood up with me the whole time, even though a lot of my family member, they weren't there, or they couldn't adjust with me, or they didn't give me a break for being more. For example, sometimes I'm more disciplined than anybody else. And my father, it didn't matter to him. I get to the point sometimes I even, yell what I don't want to, but that's how I am. Yeah, I talk more disciplined, right? And he was very patient with me, and I'm happy for his achievement. I'm happy for him opening something like that in the city, and I'm happy for all his integrity and hard work.
Yes.
He even shipped the water from New York all the way to the city.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
And one of the things is, pizzeria has been part of our family. My father is the greatest pizza man you ever seen.
Yes.
And
Well, we're going to have some of his pizza
Indeed,
at the end
ma'am.
of the show.
Yes, ma'am.
So now I'm going to interview your wife and your daughter, and I want to thank you so much. I'm very, very proud of you, and thank you so much for serving our country.
Thank you for your support, ma'am.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for your
Boys
support.
and girls, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to interview Ayadi's wife and his daughter. We'll be back in just a moment. I would now like to introduce you to Mrs. Ayadi. Her first name is Melinda, and then I'm going to introduce you to her daughter, and her daughter's name is Adriana, and she's going to read us a poem. So without further ado, here we go. Hi, Melinda.
Hi.
How are you tonight?
I'm fine, thank you.
I'm so glad you could come.
I'm so happy that you invited us. Thank you so much.
I'm so proud of your husband, as I know you are too.
Yes, we're very proud of him.
Yes, yes. Thank you for coming too. Now, my first question for you is, what was the most difficult task you had to perform while your husband was in the military?
I think it mainly was going to like holidays and different functions without him, like functions for my daughter or school functions. You can really feel I really felt the loneliness when I would go without him, because normally he would be there, and then when he was gone, he wasn't with me. So I think just different functions, going to different places that normally he would have been there.
Yes.
So that was hard.
Yes. Now, what was your children and your reaction when you saw soldiers fighting on television, saw pictures in newspapers, or heard people talking about the war?
I think like when I would see things on television about the war and stories about different soldiers, I just, in a way, kind of panicked and just wanted to turn it off. I just couldn't watch it because I couldn't bear the thought of anything happening to him that had happened to other soldiers. And so I just said, turn that off, change the channel. I don't want to see that. And because I just wanted to remain positive and have positive thoughts about my husband.
That's good.
Yeah.
And how frequently did you and the children write to your husband?
Oh, we wrote often, and we were able to talk and chat and things like that. Whenever he got a break. So that was nice.
And did you send videotapes or photographs?
Yeah, we sent pictures. Yeah.
Good,
Yeah,
good.
they were able to do that.
Good. Now, did you ask your family, your friends, or ministers to help support you while he was gone?
A little bit. I think I probably should have reached out a little bit more, but I guess I've always been a very independent person and always tried to do things on my own. And so probably I could have asked for a little bit more help, but I did ask when I really needed it, and they were there for me.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Good. Now, was there a public or a family celebration for your husband when he returned home?
There wasn't a public celebration. I wish there had been something like that. But we did, as a family, we celebrated him coming home, and we were all very excited when he got back. And he kind of surprised us at one time. I didn't know he was going to come that day. I thought he was coming the next day, and he came and he surprised me. And
oh!
Yeah, so it was kind of the other way around. That's how he is, though. He's always the one that serves,
Oh, that's
others,
great.
and always trying to make us happy, doing everything that he can to make us happy. So.
And he was so proud of you that you got your master's while he was
yes,
away. Tell us about that, please.
Oh, no, I mean, it's really nothing, compared to what he did while he was there. But yeah, I just, set out a goal that I wanted to get my master's in education. I'm a teacher. I teach at Miller's Leadership Academy in Oakland, and it's in a Spanish immersion school.
Good.
And so, that was one thing that I always wanted to do that I hadn't done yet. And he's the one actually that encouraged me to do it. I was like, no, I can't do it. I have, to help Adriana with her homework after school. And
yes.
I have to thank my daughter too, because she went to the library with me many a time and sacrificed many weekends at the library. While I had to study or write papers and things like that too.
Oh,
so yeah, it was a family effort. Everybody was supportive.
Good,
yeah.
Good. Well, thank you.
No, thank you.
And now you're on the hot seat. What a pretty young lady you are. I know your father's very proud of you. Now, how did you feel while your father was away?
Well, I kind of felt like it hadn't really settled into me, like it didn't seem real to me. I just thought he was away at vacation. I didn't think about how he was in the Army, and I didn't want to think that he was in danger or anything, but it didn't seem real to me.
Didn't seem real, And at times, though, did you have headaches or bad dreams?
Not really, but sometimes I had a few bad dreams, and I usually had dreams a lot about my dad. So.
Did other children in your class, were their fathers in the military, and did you talk to them about how they felt about their father being away?
Not really, no.
Not really? Yeah, okay. Let's see, were you afraid that he wouldn't come back?
Honestly, I was really positive. I knew for a fact that he was coming back.
He was
when
coming
he left, I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll see you when you get back."
Good.
I just knew he was going to come
You
back.
knew he was going to come back. You knew God was going to take care of him.
Yes.
Yes. Now, let's see. Did you write letters to your father and send him photographs or videotapes?
I think me and my mom made a couple videos to send him through Facebook and stuff like that, and we wrote him probably weekly letters. And I think we sent him a few pictures.
Oh,
of
that's
how we were
good.
Doing, so.
Good. Did you ever send him baked goods?
Oh no.
No baked
Sadly,
goods.
no.
Let's see now. When your father returned, were you very clingy, or were you kind of standoffish at the beginning when he came back?
It's hard to say, but I would say a bit both. I was really happy that he was back, but then he was gone for so long that I was having some trouble adjusting, but I was still really happy that he was back.
Good.
So.
Now, you've written a short poem for us, right?
Yes.
Could you read our poem? Look right there at camera 1, please.
Okay. It's called A Father's Sacrifice. Wounded by your shattered heart, you carry on in agony. Detachment and solitude, separated from the hands that grasp onto sanity. Anxiety and depression, a bridge to endless waterfalls. No daddy to hold. Connected through the ambiances of the earth, forever close to our hearts. Love for us is the only stability. You put a bullet through the cruelty of evil, but a bullet wounded the soul of Daddy's little girl.
Wonderful. Wasn't that great? I know you're very proud of her.
No, I am.
Yes, we'll have to have that published.
That would be nice.
Yes. Well, I want to thank you both for coming and honoring your father tonight
thank
and
you
your
for having
husband.
us. Thank
He
you
did
for
a
having
wonderful
us.
job. And then before we end, we're going to have your grandfather's pizza shown, and we're all going to have treats tonight after we end the show. So thank you both very much for coming. And we'll be right back. And now, Ayadi, would you tell us about this wonderful pizza that you have brought for us to sample after we finish the show?
Of course, indeed. This is half of it. It's smoking Goodfellas. It contains roasted pepper cream sauce and sausage. It's a secret sauce that made Goodfellas win the International Pizza Festival competition, and they beat it 65 countries.
65 countries?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you all for coming. And I know this is going to be a great show, and all of our millions of watchers are going to enjoy it. So without further ado, let's say goodbye. Goodbye, everybody, and thank you for watching.